How do you like the music? I love the music. Hello and welcome to My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, I've got Professor Joy Bhattacharya on the right corner wearing the blue blazer, and also wearing the blue blazer in the left corner, Mr. Pommie Mbangwa. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening to you, Gaurav. Hello, India. How are you doing?
Oh, no. It's hello, world.
Hello, world, too, of course. It's kind of where you are, isn't it?
We're world citizens.
Yeah, we are world.
People don't
Global citizens.
Global citizens. Yeah. People don't know where we are right now.
Oh, they don't?
It's an undisclosed location. Pommie, in fact, even you don't know where we are right now.
True. I didn't have one of those things on my head in the car when I came here.
We put a little sack over his head, tied his hands behind his back and said, let's go to an undisclosed location.
Yeah, nice to be back. Nice to be back.
The game is in India, though. That's what's happening. And that's the good news. But the bad news is that in Dharamshala, where the first T20 is about to take place between India and South Africa, it's rain which has become a real pain in our plans for the evening.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
There is, class 5, 6, 7, we read our geography books.
Yes.
What we were told.
Don't be presumptuous, by the way. By we, you mean you.
We want you.
I.
Yeah. So we were told that the monsoon comes. It comes and it comes, and in June and July it hits Kerala first.
Yeah.
And then it moves its way from the south, going absolutely up to the north.
Yes.
And so it hits June 1st, it hits in the beginning, and it leaves South India in the beginning.
Yeah.
So what happens as a result? By September, South India is dry.
Yeah.
Which is why if you see the Indian season, the KSC Invitational Tournament, okay, the Buchi Babu, all the tournaments that are held just pre our Ranji Trophy are held in the south.
Yes.
Why? Because that's where the rain has stopped.
Yeah.
Where does the rain go to when it leaves the south?
North.
North. Where are we playing our first two ODIs?
North.
So there is something here that I do not understand.
If you just come, we'll come to this in a second. If you just, I just want to tell you, Joy has raised a very pertinent question. But I just want to tell you that the problem lies nowhere else, but the problem lies with you. You know why?
Why?
You're looking for sense in scheduling.
But it's also from...
The problem lies with you, my young friend.
Also, Joy...
Thank you. Nobody's called me young for a very long time.
Joy, the premise, the beginning is just totally wrong. And you pointed it out. We read in our geography books, you said, right? Now you realize that nobody else read them except you.
Yeah. Which is why people like him should be involved in all of this, but this is why they're not. Because they are show-offs and they intimidate people with their knowledge about books.
And they're too busy reading geography books to take decisions. Sorry, boss. Can I have a date? No, sorry, boss. I'm reading my geography book. Boss, this is like...
Oh, yeah, it is. That's the problem. See, and that's what happens when a team comes visiting India, and we'll ask Pommie about that. We really give them Bharat Darshan. We give them the tour of India. And we'll show you the schedule now. They're in Dharamshala, then they're in Mohali, then they fly all the way to Bengaluru. Thankfully, they are kept that side there and thereabouts when they're taken to Vizag. It's a short flight. Then you go across the Indian country from Vizag to Pune. And then from Pune, you go again to Ranchi. This is, you are drawing. So I'll tell you what. So just like you read a lot of geography books, I watch a lot of serial killer movies and shows. This is the kind of map you would draw to really confuse people. Some bodies found here, then found here, then here, then here, then here. This is what you do to throw people off the trail. Is the Interpol looking for these two teams? Why are we making them run around so much?
This is straight out of Criminal Minds.
It is. And you just keep pinning it. Look at it. Pommie, when you used to come to India as well.
Yeah.
It's just unnerving, isn't it?
In times past, I guess the scheduling might have been used as a tool with regard to
voting?
Comfort levels.
Oh, I thought voting. Like local administrations, keep them happy.
As well, I mean, there's that. Hey, there's that is in play as well, I guess. But in times past, teams would turn up here in India or in the subcontinent in general and would find it not so comfortable, and to have them go from here to there to wherever else would affect how things would turn out on the field as well. Don't think India needs that now, though. I don't think any team generally would need that now. They'd just play wherever and they'd be okay, as long as it was sort of comfortable to the home team as well. These days, I think it's uncomfortable for everyone, for both teams, to be kind of traipsing in a pattern that's not good. So you don't want to go from the south to the north, back down to the south, and then back up again. you want teams to be as comfortable as possible in going through their schedule.
But I got to tell you, like you're talking about scheduling, right? So I was witness to that because I was on the tour in West Indies, right? So we had 2 games in Florida, which were the first 2 T20s on a Saturday and a Sunday. Well, that's pretty hard anyway. And then after that, the next game was on Tuesday, right? So after Sunday, you're on Tuesday in Guyana, which is a 5-hour flight from Florida, from Fort Lauderdale where we were. And that means that you have the game on a Sunday morning, right? So you've woken up early, you've had a game on a Sunday. These are the players, right? We've got an easy gig, it's fine. You fly at night at 10 o'clock to reach at 3 a.m. You reach your hotel at 6 a.m. on a Monday. And you're playing Tuesday morning at 9 a.m.
Ridiculous.
Right. So you think about, I mean, we, of course, the commentators, presenters, we went and slept. The entire crew pretty much got off that plane and then went and rigged the venue. And the players now have not slept at night. They're trying to sleep through the day. Then they can't sleep at night. And then they have to wake up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
These are
true.
small things we don't think of when we're sitting in front of the television. But it's important for players. You've got to use a little more sense in scheduling.
This is what I'm talking about. It's exactly what I'm saying. You put it succinctly enough, I should say, and it's explained. And I guess this is where you're going with the start of it being. Well, let's first of all get to the dry weather. Let's research on where the dry weather is, and let's go there, because there's frustration enough for players in sitting in a change room when you'd rather be doing battle against your opposition, which is why guys turn up here anyway. They want to get on the field and they want to play.
Also, we're starting earlier, like just a few years ago. I mean, if you think 4 or 5 years ago, the season would always begin in October.
Yeah.
Now you're beginning in mid-September because there's a lot more cricket to be played. So just do it in the south. We all know. You don't have to read a geography book. You just have to look out the window. You pretty much know where it's raining and where it's expected to and where it's not.
Big window in his house.
It's a very big window. A window over India.
Where is it in the east? Oh, those boys in Calcutta.
We all have friends living in different parts of the country. Just call him. Hello, my friend in Trivandrum. Look out of your window. Clouds? No, that's where the first match is happening, guys. Write it down. The reason why, of course, we're talking about all these things, here on Cricbuzz Live, we love telling you stories and we love dissecting things. Also, there is rain in Dharamshala. It's coming down a little bit, so definitely not a 7 p.m. start. It's been pelting down from about 5 to 6, and now it's come down to slow drizzle. But knowing the kind of weather in Dharamshala, it probably looks, it's definitely not beginning at 7. Probably be lucky if we get the toss at 7 o'clock. So that gives us time to talk about a lot of other things. So don't go away, because there's a lot of interesting things cricket to talk about. I have come here after 2 months, so it's bubbling up inside me. So many things to talk about. So many. How are you? You're good? Okay, just checking. Everyone's fine. We want to talk about the test series that's coming up, and one very significant change that will happen in the test series. MSK Prasad, the chairman of selectors for India, said that Rohit Sharma will now be opener in the test series, which is, well, I have so many questions about that. I'm very happy about it because big Rohit Sharma fan, as I'm sure everybody is. He's definitely not getting a chance in the middle order because people have cemented their place. Big slot there open because India has tried, 10, 11 openers, I think, in the last 2-3 years?
Yeah. And we really haven't had, after the Gambhir Sehwag, those days and all, we really haven't had a standard opening pair for a very long time. We've sort of done with makeshift openers for a very long time. And I think it's about time that we did it. My only hope is that I just hope they give him a 5, 6, 7 test run at it.
Yeah.
You can't turn around and give him 3 test matches and say, okay, boss, it's not working, go back. That's not going to happen. If you've given him this, and he's not a young kid. He's a very experienced cricketer. He knows his game. He knows what kind of a game he has to play if he's got to do there. He must have had these thoughts. He must have thought it through. And he's won 4 IPLs as a captain. He's a serious thinker of the game.
Yeah. Just want to add to that, by the way. Last year when he wasn't taken to, I think he didn't go to England. You remember that he posted a photo, I think it was on Instagram or something, saying something about test cricket calling me, or test is the ultimate. So it was almost like he had got word that you will be taken. And I think then he was taken to Australia, right? And he played 2 test matches and he had birth of his child and he came back. So I think there's obviously been this talk about, we want you to play in the test matches. Couldn't fit him in the middle order. And now this is sort of the last push. And 7 home games before the IPL, this domestic season to be played, 7 test matches. you'd like to see an extended run there. So did you have a point? You had a point to add to Joy, right?
Oh, not really. I'm just listening to the conversation, actually. I do have a thought, though, with regard to Rohit Sharma. I think if there is a time in which he would go to the top of the order and be best equipped, thinking about his white ball cricket and batting right up at the top. You're mentioning leading Mumbai Indians to championships in the IPL. Also, I think about his success in one-day cricket. The guy's got 3 double hundreds. You know, he's a fantastic player. It doesn't translate, though, necessarily that if you play well in white ball cricket, you're going to play well in red ball cricket. At the top of the order is the toughest position. You face the new ball. It's just the hardest place. You have to try and set the stall out for the team. If there is a time, though, that he would choose Rohit Sharma to be given the opportunity at the top of the order in red ball cricket, I think this is the best time. So often we think that young guys, or give a guy a chance when he is young, but I think for cricketers, it's probably better when they've learnt their game.
Yeah.
And Rohit Sharma, having played 12 years of international cricket now, it debuted in 2007, I think it is. And he's not going to be learning any more about himself in terms of how he wants to play the game. He knows what he needs to do. He knows what he's best at. He knows, what he needs to try in order to fix certain things. So he's got his touch points, his triggers, and all the rest. And it's just about the mental side of things. There are guys in times past who've tried to make the transition to go from middle order to the top order, and they found it very difficult.
And some successes. We've got names here as successes.
Yeah,
there's Surya being one example. Langer was also one who did it. Got a chance when Michael Slater was out of form. Partnered with Hayden, that was in England, and then after that, well, as they say, the rest is history. That was Justin Langer there, then finished, of course, with an average of close to 50 with 1600s. So there's Jayasuriya, there's Langer. I think we have another one, of course, Virendra Sehwag. How can we forget?
Yeah, and I'll give a South African example as well as Neil Mackenzie, who played in the middle order and then came back, and he was right up at the top of the order. But the thing about it, though, the people you've picked out, I mean,
these are the good ones.
Yeah,
let's talk about the ones you haven't done. Yeah, you were talking about those.
And not so much that I was talking about them. Yeah. I just think the thing that's common, the thing that's the same with regard to Rohit Sharma, is the fact that all these guys had played a long time. And so when they went to the top of the order, they knew what they were trying to do. The fearless approach of Virendra Sehwag is because he knew he could be successful doing it, and he had the license to do it, and in his mind, he didn't see a different way to do it. When you're young, you're kind of tentative, aren't you? You're not sure. If you go a couple of times and, you're out, then you're thinking, how many more chances do I have?
Yeah.
He's not on trial here,
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma. He's being put in to plug a gap, and he'll take it as long as he can, if he succeeds, of course.
See, a lot of this is also, one is given the chance and they're backing him and he knowing his game. The other is the captain backing him?
Yeah.
You see the captain and selection committee. If you see Sehwag was completely backed by Saurav and said, go play your natural game. The most interesting part of it is, given how fast he bats, the truth is Sehwag is a much better test batsman than he's an ODI batsman as well. Yeah. And his record shows it. It's very surprising because you look at him and say, this guy's a natural ODI player. But his test record is actually superior to his ODI record. He's hit triple centuries. I mean, that's the thing. So what was it? It was a captain also giving you rope. Steve Waugh, the height of his powers, turning around and saying, okay, go, open.
Yeah.
We've got your back, go and open. We are backing you.
This is Brett Lee. Brett Lee told me this on my show. Brett Lee said about Virendra Sehwag. He says, you're coming in, first ball of a test match. He hits you for 4 or 6. You're like, buddy, it's the first ball of a test match. What are you doing? Like, calm down.
But it's brilliant, though. I think in talking about those aggressive guys, and Viru is a perfect example, and I suppose those examples were good in Viru, Jayasuriya,
Langer.
as two guys. Langer maybe not so much because he was more kind of in his shell, and he did the I'll do the hard
The aggressive ones.
Yeah, the aggressive ones, you watch them and you think, woof, you can't do that. You can't keep playing like that through a test match. Surely, until the guy's got 300. You know? Matthew Hayden's another example. Walk in, bang, they just keep smashing it and they go. Ultimately, it is about whether they are successful or they're not successful. And they stay there and they make an impact and we remember them and we talk about them. because they succeed. And the hallmark of their success is that they know their game. David Warner is another one I'll give as an example, because he went from playing 2020s to one-days to test matches. They were reluctant to play him in test matches when he started out because they thought, nah, he's too rash, goes too hard at it. And look now, I know he's having a nightmare, or had a nightmare.
He's having a Stuart Broad.
Yeah, he's having a Stuart Broad. Every time he is his Freddy Krueger.
Well, Rohit Sharma definitely gets a chance here. That's because KR Rahul given a lot of chances, so he doesn't make it now. And you look at what's been happening with the Indian openers, and I think Joyce pointed out so well. Gambhir Sehwag, you're going back years now, right?
We've not had a settled pair
You're
for a
going
long
back
time.
7 years.
Yeah.
And that means in 7 years, and India's done so well in test matches, but the opening combination's never been a surety.
Yeah.
Right? It's never, there's Abhinav, Mukund, KL Rahul, Prithvi Shaw, Shikhar Dhawan, Gautam Gambhir came in, Parthiv Patel, Murli Vijay. I've just rattled off 8 or 9 names.
And
And I missed 1 or 2, I think.
Do you know what, guys? It's actually incredible, though, that in that time,
They've succeeded so much.
they've succeeded, because it shouldn't be. Like, if you think about that, if you think of Aussie sides of the past, in fact, think of Indian sides of the past. So the big four, right? And what happened in that time? It was solid opening partnership, and then the guys could build on and they could bat forever from there. And without it, you expose these guys who are in the middle order to this new ball, and there's trouble. Yet, in this recent time, in Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni's time, despite the issues at the top of the order, they've still managed to churn out runs and, the side get to number 1, the side win games and be formidable as a unit. That's incredible. So now, if you can get the top sorted, well.
Well. This is what Sanjay Bangar had to say about Rohit Sharma being opener. We've got a little quote here. It says the advantage is that he will get to bat against a hard ball with plenty of gaps in the field. Won't have to wait for his turn, save him mental energy, valid point. And if he succeeds, his style of play will be extremely helpful to the team. So basically, and obviously talks about him chasing down targets. So essentially, they are seeing him playing the kind of role that he plays. They don't want him to play, because in the middle order, such a valid point, in the middle order, Joy, when we've seen him bat, there's always a half-half. Rohit is almost like unsure about, should I stop or should I go?
Yeah,
And are they then telling him, all right, buddy, you've got the license to do a Viru. Like just play the way you want to. Play the way you play in white ball cricket. You see off 3 or 4 overs and then you go.
I think they will give it to him, and I think they have to, because look, they don't have an option. He is their dasher up front. Then there's Virat coming at 3, because then you have Pujara who's going to say he's the rock. He's going to go there and
Rahane, Vihari's come good, Rishabh.
All those. See, you have Rishabh. Leave Kohli aside, because Kohli can do everything. But then you have Rishabh there who's a dasher, and you have, say, Rohit here who's a dasher, and then you have a lot of solid bats around them, and I think that's how they're trying to construct it. Look, there are still players coming in. Prithvi is going to come in at some time. His ban is going to finish in the next couple of months. Prithvi will come back into it. Mayank is doing well. He's finally sort of justified his place for India. He's going to be there. So, and it's not a bad thing also to have competition out there.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing for him to feel that there are players out there, but to be told that you're going to have a good, long, hard run at it, because you've shown us that you can do everything else with it, and we're sure you can do this as well. And I think he must have had that. They must have had a chat with him saying, you know what, our slot, we think the important slot is opener. Can you do this? And they'll tell him, don't tell us now. Go home, think about it for a couple of days. Come back, tell us, let's talk about it. That's how they should have done it. I think that's how they would have done it.
It's a good thing. I'm telling you, if Rohit comes good for India at the top, all Rohit Sharma fans, we love watching him bat. We've seen him score 200s in white ball cricket, 3 of them in fact. If he can replicate some of that in red ball cricket, then well, Indian cricket fans are in for a treat, definitely. All right, let's talk about the My 11 Circle team. You got to make your team, right? You know that. You got to make your team, yeah? So this is how you play. my11circle.com is where you have to go. I'm sure you've downloaded the app after the World Cup. You select a match, you create your team. Of course, it's India and South Africa today. You can beat Dada and win 3 times more cash. That's Dada Ka Wada. We also have a My 11 Circle expert advice right now. We're going to take that from Joy and Pommie. Who should be the captain? Viewers out there want to know. Oh, they're there now. Viewers out there want to know. Who should be their captain for the game today? Who should be the captain?
I don't know if today.
Who's going to get them the most points?
Correct.
Basically, who's going to get them the most points?
I'm just going to say, I don't know about today, actually. It's a bit of a stab in the dark, that one.
I'll tell you.
Go on.
While you guys take a second to think
Yeah.
about it,
I have one captain.
whoever has an umbrella in Dharamshala is getting the most points. You see them most on the field, essentially. So who do you think is going to get the most points?
So I'm going to go with Hardik Pandya, and I'll tell you why. Because my sense is that this is going to be a rain-shortened game. Okay, if you have a rain-shortened game, what's going to happen is your dashes will probably come on first.
Yeah.
So Pandya is likely to bat at 3 or 4. Secondly, if it's rain-shortened, I was choosing between Kunal and Hardik. Kunal with the spinner in these conditions, the ball he's not going to be able to grip. So the chances of him getting too much bowling is unlikely. So that's the only reason I'm going with Hardik. It's obviously a shot in the dark, but you know, when you're playing 2020 and it's going to be shortened further, then everything is a shot in the dark.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I can't disagree, actually. There's no ways I'd be able to disagree with that. From slippery ball to shortened game to if you have a 5-over hit out, who do India send in? Generally, Kohli and every other Indian captain who's been around with Hardik around, he will be the guy. He probably opens, actually. He goes in if it's a 5-over game. Yeah, I think you would go with him. You'd have to, because he's kind of the biggest hitter around.
I'm saying Rohit Sharma.
Yeah, but he doesn't bowl. So if you're looking for the most points,
He'll get all the runs and get you the points.
Yeah, but if you want to get kind of a full house, you want a guy who's involved in everything. Right?
I am saying you got to pick the guy who plays the most balls, because you play the most deliveries, you get the most points.
Okay, yeah. So we are going with this thing. No, we don't even know who'll open. And my thought is also Hardik will be a boundary rider, so he might
and
get a
he'll
catch
take
at all.
catches, and he'll bowl, and he'll smash some. You go with whoever you want. It doesn't matter. Go with.
But I'm saying
tell
that
you
Rohit will be fielding in the slips and the ball moving around. He will get 1 or 2 catches there.
There'll be no slip catches. It'll be a shortened game. They'll smash it out the ground. Boundary riders. I think you're right.
Okay.
Boundary ride.
Okay, let's see. We'll find out. Right now, I don't even mind losing if we get a game. See, the only way I can lose is if we get a game. So I don't mind losing.
I agree.
Correct? Neither do you guys, right? We don't mind losing as long as we get the game. Well, there's one guy who doesn't know about losing, because he was a winner. Winner, chicken dinner, as they say in Las Vegas. There's a gentleman, Tufan Ghosh, who was the Beat the Expert champion for the World Cup here on my 11th circle. He's the one who beat Dada, and anybody who beats Dada, first of all, obviously Ghosh Babu, right? There's some domicile advantage right there. To beat Dada, you got to think like that. You got to think Bengali. And we, of course, caught up with Tufan and said, give us some of your expert advice as well on how to max my 11th circle and how to beat Dada. Let's have a listen.
मेरा नाम तूफान घोष, मेरा गांव का नाम भूदव। मैंने ऐप डाउनलोड किया, उसमें खेलना शुरू कर दिया और देखते ही देखते मैं लीडर बोर्ड पे नंबर 1 पे आ गया और जीता 1 करोड़। मुझे यकीन ही नहीं हुआ कि मैंने 1 करोड़ जीत लिया। माई 11 साइकिल बहुत ही आसान और भरोसेमंद ऐप है।
Well done, young man. It's not easy to beat Dada, Joy. You've spent enough time with him,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not easy to beat him.
No, also I was
Sharp.
thinking, he's very sharp. And I was thinking that the other Tufan Ghosh I know is a dear friend of mine who's the head of who's the CEO of India's National Cricket Academy. And I said that, why should he beat Dada? They should talk to each other. They shouldn't beat each other up.
Yeah.
Maybe I've got the wrong topic, the wrong Tufan.
Let's talk about the game. The 3 T20Is that are going to be played in this series. Let's have a look at the South African squad. But the news from Dharamshala is it's still raining, so no decision on the tosses yet. But you got Quinton de Kock, who's going to be captaining. Reza Hendricks, Ressie van der Dussen, who's been doing really well, of course. Temba Bavuma, David Miller. The all-rounders are, help me with the first name.
Andile Petluguayo.
Faklavayo. Dwayne Pretorius. George, the South Africa team is becoming better than the Sri Lankan team now in terms of name pronunciations.
I'll help you out actually with the pronunciation for Petluguayo, and you can break it down phonetically, right?
Yeah, okay.
So a pet, yeah, look,
Pet look.
Y,
Why?
Vayo.
O.
Oh,
Pet look why?
Vayo.
There you go.
Petluguayo.
There you go.
Petuquayo.
Got it. 100%.
So much easier.
But why do they spell it that way? Okay, English is a terrible
It's
language.
not. Yeah, it's not an English.
And now, of course, Pommie is going to do that for us with his own full name.
No, I'm not. We're now going to look at the rest of this.
Pumilelo Mbangwa.
What? You got it in one. But
Malelo,
you've been
Mbangwa. We've been
You,
practicing.
my brother. You, my brother.
from another mother.
From another mother.
There you go.
Let's have a look at, we had looked at the all-rounders. Let's have a look at the bowlers as well. You've got Kagiso Rabada there, of course. One that can send shivers down batsmen's spines. Buren Hendricks, Junior Dala with that funny double jump of his.
Yeah.
By the way, I learned from Smriti Mandhana that what he does, that double jump with his right foot, is called double udi.
Double Udi.
Double udi. It's called double udi in India. Yeah, it's called double udi. So when you come running, he puts his right foot and then his right foot again for his jump, right? That's called double udi.
Okay.
There you go. You learned something.
Yes, I have.
One lives and learns.
Yeah.
Double Udi.
3 more names left, which I was going to read out. We keep stopping in the middle because it's rained, you know. We have time. Tabre Shamsi Andrix Noye. I got it wrong.
Nokia.
Nokia. Like the phone. All right.
Yeah.
And beyond
14.
14. Wow, it's become tricky now, huh? It's become
Like
tricky.
a minefield of names out there.
Trickier and
Become
trickier.
tricky. What happened to Graham Smith and generic names like Smith?
Yes. Change your name. You know, in the old days, there used to happen these, aristocratic families, you go there and say, what's your name, young lady? Come to work as a governess or something. Oh, my name's Susan. No, we call all our governesses Sallys. Your name's Sally from now on. It's like that, I'm sorry, I'm not going to change. I've been calling your governess Sally for 20 years. I'm not going to change.
Terrible.
I'm not going to change that now.
It's so bad.
It's how they used to do it. I'm sorry,
I love how he's basically torn the bill on the British, on the aristocratic families, as if that doesn't happen in India right now, right? We who are pretty much across state lines, one of the most racist countries you will ever find. Two states can't get together with each other. All right. Oh, you drink? You must be Punjabi. I'm like, what? Not all Punjabis drink. All right.
What do you mean? What do you mean? When nobody told me that. Somebody should have
You're
told
like,
me.
if you drink and you swear, you must be Punjabi. I mean, that's really bordering. That's bringing down a really big group of people into two very basic things.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one more thing. The next man who talks to me about Rasgulla, I'm going to throw something at him.
There you go.
I've had it with Rasgulla. I have had it. I don't like. I'm Bengali. I don't like Rasgullas. There, I've said it. I've said it.
I feel like you may have antagonized a lot of people by saying that. Definitely Tufan
think-
Ghosh.
yeah.
My 11th circle win.
Phones are being chucked as we speak at the
That's
moment.
right. How dare you? Can I just add another one to it?
Yep.
I heard that the Rasgulla is actually not even from Bengal, it's from Odisha. Correct, moving on.
Talking about antagonizing. Oh, moving right along.
We of course talk about Quinton de Kock's captaincy, so let's talk about that. He's been playing for a while, so you keep thinking, oh, this guy's been around a while. The fact is, he's a young guy.
He's a very young guy, yeah. And the thing about coming to India, though, is his introduction into international cricket, he kind of blitzed India. He enjoyed playing against India. Admittedly, it was one-day internationals, but he's had success against India. So this, I don't think, is going to be particularly difficult or heavier on him than the usual sort of captaincy duties. He's also captained South Africa in a couple of games before in one-day international. So over time, he's got better and better. And when I say better and better, I just mean better at handling the expectation. The expectation of a captain, it's not easy. Some guys are captains, some guys are not. In this scenario, I don't really know what the thought process is with regard to South Africa's selection committee and also the management setup. Everything is kind of interim. He's not got the job full time.
Yeah.
He's just doing it on this tour in these 3 T20s. In the test matches, Faf du Plessis comes back. He's not on the tour. He's not in the 2020 section of the tour. That in itself is a big discussion with regard to direction. But for Quinton de Kock, I think he'll be okay. And essentially, he tries to lead by how he plays.
Yeah.
And if he can play decently, then things will go okay for him. Will go better for him, certainly.
We'll pull the South African squad up for you again. We, of course, are talking about Quinton de Kock, who's captaining in these 3 T20s. You have David Miller there as well, who has captained South Africa in T20. So, and just want to point out, like we were, of course, with no disrespect, having a laugh right now on, we want to get the pronunciations right for a lot of these players because we are hearing their names. Perhaps a lot of you are hearing their names for the first time. And the reason, and that's what we want to dive into, and so interesting, the reason why we're hearing a lot of these names coming in now is because of that word, Kolpak.
Well,
right?
yeah.
You've had some retirements.
Yeah, so
And you've had a lot of players that have been pushed up because every country has a large base of players that you're going to pick from.
Right.
Suddenly, even though those players, a lot of them may not have been sureties in the 11, but them moving away makes the other sureties by process of elimination.
Yeah, so you're hearing these names because they're new players in the team and they're not the usual ones you've heard over the years. And generally what will happen is some people will play for 10 years, some for 12 years, and those are just in teams that become good teams. So even with India, we're talking about the opening berth where, Sehwag and Gambhir for years, and then, who's opening? We don't know. And there's this one and that one and that and the other. With South Africa, with regard to Kolpak, I think besides a few of the players who are on that Kolpak list, say since 2015, there's a few of them who are fixtures in the side. Here's Simon Harmer. He came to India, actually, to play in that series. What was it, 3-0, and there was the rain in Bangalore. And as you look at all the names, the guys have played 1, 2, 5, 6 test matches, bar Morne Morkel, whose name will come up. I'm thinking of somebody else who was also in that attack is Kyle Abbott. Yeah, there you go. His name's come up there. He just seemed to be getting into the side and seemed like he could make a real difference, not necessarily in test matches, but in one-day international cricket. He was a big loss, Riley Rousseau, because it seemed they primed him to be the guy who would be at the top of the order. And then he decided, well, he wasn't going to make it and decided he was going to go. I don't think you're ever going to stop the exodus of players. For Morne Morkel, end of his career, towards the end.
Yeah, Morne makes utter sense.
Yeah, it made sense, it made sense that he went. But I don't think you can stop the exodus of players when there is this available to them. There's another one who might have been a loss at a time they wouldn't have liked. Looking back, though, Duan Olivier gets into the side because there are injuries to the normal bowling lineup. So Vernon Philander was injured, Lungi Ngidi was injured. Trying to think there might have been another injury as well because he wasn't towards the top in terms of
Dale
the pecking
Steyn, I
order.
don't think was
Dale Steyn was injured. So that already says there's a bowling lineup gone. So Kagiso Rabada would be the fourth of those, and one of them would have had to miss out in order for the team to then play. And Duan Olivier came in. He tormented the Pakistanis. 25 wickets in a 3-match series, and then decided I'm done. I'm going. Surprise to absolutely everyone because you then think, well, look, you've made a case for being the third seamer here. He looks ahead, says these guys are all coming back. When they come back, where am I going to be? And I'm 26, 27 years old, whatever it is. I think he's 25, 26. I want to make money. He goes over to England. The surprise for me was when he got there, he said, I want to play for England. Oh, what do you mean? If you say, I'm going to make my money, hey, that's fine. And they have to feed their families. All these guys have to feed their families. They're going to make financial decisions, I think, over patriotic decisions. And that comes in a place where if you're in South Africa and you're going rand versus dollar equals, 1:15, and rand versus pound, 1:to nearly 20. If I go to the UK and I play for 3 years and I come back with 500,000 pounds, whatever it is, it's a whole lot of rand. You're not going to begrudge anybody that, right? And that's the nature of it. That's the way sport goes. You only have a short window to play and to then have made sufficient money to then live off. And that's why these guys end up going, mainly, I think.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree with him. Also, as I said, leave, say, a Morne Morkel aside or somebody like that, he's at the end of his career. He knows he's had his South Africa run.
He's doing like a footballer going to the US.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's Beckham.
Or something, right?
It's Beckham and Rooney and towards the end of the careers. And but take the others. See, the other biggest problem is if you see a lot of them, they are what we call them tweeners.
Yeah.
They're not sure shots, but they're close. They're there, they could be there, they couldn't be there. That's the toughest thing is to be a tweener. So I always say that, for example, it was not difficult for Sachin Tendulkar or Jacques Kallis to decide they played cricket.
Correct.
Because from the age of 13, 14, somebody's had a look at them and said, boss, you're destined to be the next great. So no decision has to be made. You just go through the course.
Yeah.
The difficult one is when you're 17, 18, you're good, but are you good enough to play for India? Are you good enough to play for your state? Okay, I'm getting a state chance. Am I good enough? And I have to take a decision. Do I stop studying and I play? So those are the tough decisions. All these players are in that area where they're not sure that if they give up their careers, South Africa is going to pick them.
Yeah.
So whenever you're a tweener, you're probably making a call saying, you know what, if I'm not sure, I'll have to take a decision. Normally that decision is towards security.
And I think also the carrot in times past wasn't necessarily dangled in terms of finance. So in times past, the thought process would have been weighed more towards just I want to play a test match for my country. And it means a whole lot more than any money anyone can give me. So I'm going to strive to get there and play 1, 2, 5, whatever it is, the number of test matches I get, or 100, right? If you get to 100 test matches and you're good enough. But now, a guy is sitting there, as you say, and he's going, oh, okay, I want to play professional cricket. But India's calling me and they're saying, you can be a 2020 player and you could get $1 million, right? Or England's calling and I could play, in the county scene, and I won't necessarily play. I can't play for South Africa, can't play for my country, but I can play as a Kolpak player. And if I play X number of years, I'll make a decent living. It's now palpable. Everyone can see it. The numbers are in front of them. It wasn't there before.
It was option, wasn't
Right.
there?
It wasn't,
I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it happen. We don't have to look far. If you just think of all the T20 leagues that have happened in the last few years, and think of all the Caribbean players that have been playing, haven't been turning out for West Indies, were turning up for, all and sundry sort of T20 leagues all over the world. So you're pretty much seeing a variation of that. It's just that it's played out a lot because it is a big deal, Kolpak, or they're leaving South Africa, they're shutting the door forever, as opposed to West Indies players, and you see they've come back into the fray once things get sorted.
Yeah, so I know it always seems like they're shutting the door forever.
Yeah.
But as I think backwards, right? Faf du Plessis played for Lancashire, I think it was, on a Kolpak deal.
He went back.
Paul Harris played for Warwickshire on a Kolpak deal. And they went there, played in England, and came back.
Yeah.
And played for South Africa.
Ooh, so
Right?
not shutting the door forever.
and yes, there were complaints from the English to say, these guys can't do this. How can they do this? But if the guys are young enough, they could go off and they could play in a Kolpak deal. They have no reason not to sign one because they're doing it from a job perspective, a financial opportunity perspective. Admittedly, that was also before you had your IPL and
leagues,
every other option in 2020 league. So guys would take that as an option. And you get those who are pigeonholed as red ball cricketers who would look and say, will I make it round the world? So today, will I make it round the world as a 2020 cricketer? Maybe not. Am I a sure shot for a championship, county championship side as a batsman, as a spinner, whatever you do? Yeah, I can, score 1,000 runs in a season. I'm a good enough player. But do I play for South Africa? Do I not? Am I making that shot? Am I fighting off with somebody who's probably better than me? I am. I'm going, right? And if he's young enough and he goes, he can come back.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's still the loophole, but the loophole certainly was there before. Hence, du Plessis and Harris haven't played.
You know what we have to do? We have to do an entire legal analysis of the Kolpak deal. We've spoken enough about it, so we'll just give you a real update on the game right now. Still raining. News not good. We don't know when the toss will happen. So which is why
That's
today,
an update on the rain,
That's an update on the...
not on the game.
Not on the game, no. The update on the game that isn't. The game that isn't, but will be. And that's my my 11th Circle expert couch prediction today. That's my prediction today. That how obviously it's going to be, overs are going to be docked. It's not going to be a 20 over game. How many over game is it going to be? What's your guess? What's your guess? It's a minimum 5 over, right? It's got to be 5. So you can't say 2. So it's got to be 5.
So I'm going to say it's going to be a 9-over game. And I'm also going to predict the winner.
Well,
Because Ravi Shastri has told me cricket will be the winner.
Oh, nicely done. Oh, nicely done.
Terrible. So bad.
It was bad. We're coming back after a long time. It happened.
Yeah, it's a little rusty. It's a little rusty Theron.
There was something you tweeted, I can't remember now. There was something you tweeted that I appreciated great. I'm going to have to think about that and come back with it, actually.
Excellent. We'll be coming back a lot today.
A little while ago, and yeah, it was really...
We'll be coming back a lot today. Trust me.
It was a joy factor thing, yeah.
11. My guess is 11, by the way. Mine is 11. I'm saying there will be 11 over game.
I'm going with 7.
7,
7,
11.
11. Why?
7, 9, 11.
Better than 9-11.
7, 11 is better than 9, 11.
9-11. Absolutely.
Because at 7, 11, you can get a Slurpee. Hello, would you like a Slurpee, please? Would you? Joy factor question. We've got that as well. Don't worry whether there's a game or no. There's a game always for you on our joy factor question. Over to you, Professor Bhattacharya.
Thank you, Gaurav. And your question today is, which cricketer who works as an international coach specializing in another discipline of cricket has actually taken the maximum most number of 5-wicket hauls in ODI matches for his country? That means he's specializing as a coach in another discipline.
Sanjay Bangar.
Come on.
It's
It's not Amitabh Bachchan.
Steve Waugh.
No. Okay, fine. That's it. That's it.
That's it. That's it. I'm getting close.
You're running away with all the cricket.
I'll tell you. John Buchanan. It's got to be John Buchanan. You ask a question about a coach, it's got to be John Buchanan. All right, so send us your answers. You can tweet us your answers on hashtag Cricbuzz Live. So send us the answer to this question. We obviously have the regulars who fire in their answers, and they've probably done it already.
Yeah,
so
as we speak, probably answers are being their way to us.
we're checking it. All right, so we're gonna go check that. So we're gonna check out for a bit. We of course will have regular updates on Cricbuzz on what happens to the game, and when there is the toss, after that we will come back and of course discuss the 11 that both teams have chosen. So for now, I'd like to thank Joy and Pommie both. Thank you so much. That was a fun cricket discussion. It really was.
We didn't even actually get to the cricket part.
This is all cricket only. What
Oh,
else?
was it?
Sir, please, what else can you talk, sir?
Geography, there was cold pack, there was
Weather.
Weather. Is that all cricket?
It's all part of cricket. You realize that cricket is probably one game which has so many variable factors around it. It's not just about the bat and ball, it's so many other things.
Do you know what I just wondered? Yes, it is, but I just wondered what games they would play these days in the change rooms on days like this, on rainy days. I literally just then. Just came to my mind.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Could they be playing Antakshari? Could they be playing charades?
And I wonder if there's an Indian version and particular games in the Indian change rooms during the rainy season.
So there's always a one-drop catch, that one bounce, one drop catch,
Nice.
one drop catch. And they play it regularly.
So I'll tell you the game we're going to play right now. I'm playing a game with Joy and Pommie. Guess what you're having for dinner?
Oh!
Nice, yeah? Maybe I'll just surprise them. Well, I'm Gaurav Kapur. Thank you so much for watching My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. We will be back as soon as we have word of the toss. Keep checking for updates on the Cricbuzz app. Thank you for watching.